Welcome back to the Real Story channel. Once upon a time, in a mystical African village, there lived a great king named Ad. He ruled over his kingdom with wisdom and grace, and his people adored him. King Ad had a son named Jade, who was the apple of his eyes and the heir apparent to the throne. Prince Jade was a handsome, kind, and gentle young man, loved and admired by every lady in the village. Despite his royal background, Jade loved a simple and common life. He sought out adventures in the vast farmland surrounding the village. One fateful day, while Jade was climbing one of the tallest trees in the farm, tragedy struck. He accidentally missed a step and fell from a great height, breaking his neck. The prince lay unconscious, his life hanging by a thread. The news of the prince's accident spread like wildfire throughout the village, and the entire community was plunged into despair. King Ad, filled with worry and desperation, summoned all the powerful healers in the land to save his beloved son. But despite their best efforts, the prince remained in a deep coma, unresponsive to any treatment. The king's heart ached with fear. Jade was his only son and the future of their kingdom. Without an heir, the throne could pass to another, and King Ad could not allow that to happen. He cried out to the gods, pleading for their intervention and the healing of his son. The villagers joined in prayers and made sacrifices, hoping for a miracle. After 7 long days, a great seer arrived at the palace with a glimmer of hope. He said that the gods had revealed to him that a young lady in the village was pregnant with Prince Jade's child. However, the seer added that the gods did not reveal the identity of this lady. King Ad's heart swelled with joy at the thought of an unborn grandchild who could inherit his throne should anything happen to his son. He knew he had to find the lady as soon as possible to secure the future of his kingdom. The news of the unborn prince spread like wildfire, and soon nearly all the ladies in the village arrived at the palace, claiming to be carrying the prince's child. Deep inside the village, there lived a beautiful young lady named Faye. She had been in a secret relationship with Prince Jay for a long time, their love hid from the prying eyes of the village. Several days before the prince's accident, Faye had discovered that she was pregnant with his child and was planning to tell the prince before the tragic accident that kept him in a coma. Fearing that no one would believe her due to her low background, Faye kept her pregnancy a secret. Faye was helping her mother in the garden when her best friend, Rachel, came running towards her. Rachel informed Faye about the gathering of ladies in the palace, all claiming to be pregnant for the prince. Shocked and worried, Faye confided in Rachel, revealing her own pregnancy. Consumed by envy and the desire to also become a queen, Rachel laughed it off and left. On her way back, Rachel hatched a plan. She thought to herself, since the prince is in a coma and cannot speak, all of you are claiming to be pregnant for him. You all want to become queen, right? Okay, let's all play this game. When Faye arrived at the palace, she was taken aback to see her friend Rachel among the ladies claiming to be pregnant for the prince. Equally astonished, the king questioned all the ladies about why they had gathered there. The seer had said only one lady was carrying the prince's child, so why were they all claiming to be pregnant? Each lady insisted that the prince had impregnated them before the accident, causing confusion in the palace. King Ad, a wise ruler, decided to put the ladies through a series of tests to determine the legitimacy of their claims. The tests were to begin in 7 market days. During those 7 market days, the village was abuzz with activity. Hearts were anxious, and men were busy as the ladies, having their pregnancies earlier, sought out someone to sleep with them and potentially get them pregnant. Rachel, determined to beat everyone at the game, kept her distance from Faye, who was unaware of her friend's deceit. On the 7th day, all the pregnant ladies gathered in the palace. The famous midwife in the village, Iabo, was called upon to confirm the pregnancies. To everyone's shock, Iabo declared that all the ladies were indeed pregnant. A new test was announced, a seed planting test. Each lady was asked to plant a special seed in Prince Jade's garden, symbolizing the life growing within them. The harvesters in the village had performed a ritual on the land, ensuring that only the lady carrying the prince's child would have the healthiest plant. As the days passed, all the plants began to grow, but Faye's plant stood as the heaviest and the most vibrant. Consumed by envy and desperation, Rachel could not bear to see Faye succeed. In the dead of the night, she sneaked into the garden when the guards were asleep and killed all the plants, hoping to sabotage Faye's chances. The next day, the entire village gathered at the garden to witness the revelation of the test results. To their dismay, all the plants had withered, and the harvest was devastated. The heart of the village was devastated by the turn of events. It was announced that the council had reviewed and devised a final test. This test would not only identify the mother of the prince's unborn child but could also heal the prince himself. All the ladies were instructed to fetch the water of life from the magical river in the heart of the forest. The water brought by the true mother of the prince's child would have the power to heal him. Furthermore, she would become the princess and the future queen of the village. However, those who failed the test would become slaves to the queen, serving her for the rest of their lives as punishment for their lies and deception. At the mention of this punishment, many of the ladies stepped forward, confessing that they had lied and that other men in the village had impregnated them. They were pardoned but would live the rest of their lives in shame. Only Ron refused to step down, unable to bear the thought of Faye becoming queen. She had a plan and was willing to risk it all. Heavily pregnant, Faye and Rachel embarked on a journey to fetch the water of life from the magical river. The once best friends had become bitter rivals, each vying for the title of the future queen of the land. On their way back, exhausted from the journey, Faye decided to take a rest. Ron seized this opportunity and exchanged the pot of water. She took Faye's water, believing that since she was truly pregnant with the prince's child, her water held the power to heal him. Rock was confident that she would pass the test, having changed the water, and Faye would become her slave. When they arrived at the palace, the entire village awaited their return, their hopes hanging in the balance. Rachel, filled with false confidence, went in first to present her water to the prince. To her dismay, nothing happened. Confused and desperate, she wondered why the water she had exchanged didn't work. Unbeknownst to her, Faye had kept Rachel's water with sincerity and love in her heart. She administered the true water to the prince. Miraculously, the prince jacked back to life, his eyes fluttering open. It was not about the water but the person administering it. Faye's genuine connection with the prince had brought him back from the brink of death. The entire village erupted in joy and celebration, for the poor girl who had never thought herself worthy of the prince was crowned as a princess and the future queen. Months later, Faye gave birth to a healthy baby boy, the young prince who would one day inherit the throne. Faye and Prince Jade were married, and they lived happily ever after, ruling their kingdom with love and compassion. As for Rachel, her deceit and envy had cost her dearly. She spent the rest of her life as a slave, serving as a reminder of the consequences of her actions. Thank you for watching. See you in the next updated videos.